What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys, finally, finish it. First of all, my apologies. I've been gone for a little over 8 days. I think it might be a week on the dot, and I have not made you guys accustomed to that on my channel. Usually, we're going every couple days. We're covering any type of in the current event topics, and we'll go into history if we need to, but we stay active. However, I've been busy, man. Life has been life, and there's really no other way to put it. And even when it came to the weekend, I was busy all week, but when it came to the weekend, I had a little bit of time that I could have made a video. I wanted to spend it with my family, man. I wanted to chill out for a second, but I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I believe this is going to post on Tuesday, right? So it's going to be about 8 or 9 days since the last time you see me. Also, Marvel post. What you guys don't know is around this camera, off the camera, it's like a Marvel themed room, right? But eventually the decoration slipped into it. What Marvel portrait right there that I have framed, right? But I did promise you guys in one of my last couple of videos we would finish this top 5 category series, which I've done way slower than I did the first time. We've been through the top 5 performers, top 5 punchers, top 5 anglers. You should go check that out if you haven't. And as you can see, the one that is going to cause the most debate because people are very passionate about this topic, I have my top 5 pens in Battle Rap in 2025. My top 5 pens as of current day. This is not an all-time list, right? This is about active battle rappers who are outside month to month, every other month, or just across the last year especially, have been outside and active and put work into the sport. So, as it is for the other videos, you're not going to see names like Loaded Lux, Daylight. Granted, you know what I'm saying, Daylight's about to battle. Lux did just battle. We're talking about people that are holding the sport down consistently, not that pop out every few years. Murda Mook. I'm sure someone's going to be like Iron Solomon. You know what I'm saying? No, those are not people that have personally made my list. However, obviously they're fantastic, but this is more about the people that are doing it day to day, week to week, month to month, and holding down the sport. But of course, we have a good top 5 here. Some returning names from last year's top 5 pens. A couple new names, you know what I'm saying? But before we get into that, of course, we have to go over a couple honorable mentions. And as for those 2 honorable mentions, first one is a repeat honorable mention from last year, and he hasn't been as active as I'd like since the last time I put him on this list, but his style is so pen-based, and it works when he is in the ring. And I feel like we don't see as many of just the straight pen-based battlers that worked like we did back in the day, and that is Klutz. Like I said, honorable mention last year, and ever since then, he hasn't had much. The Jack Boy battle, I think the Danny Myers battle, which is the real standout. He was incredible versus Danny Myers, and I think he has a great style. I want to see him more active. Some people say the solution to that is battling on other leagues as well, mixing in some small battles to work in with the URL battles. But I see no reason the guy couldn't battle 3 or 4 times in a year on URL at the very least. He just needs to be more active. But as a pen, he's in this convo. I think he's special. I think he has what it takes to be like one of the best pens of this generation. And every time he's faced top-tier competition, particularly top-tier writers, he's really risen his skill level to the level of the battle. Given great performances versus JC, Chilla Jones, Danny Myers. Obviously, I want to see him versus some other types of styles as well at a higher level. But I'm a big believer in Klutz, and for me, he's still, even though he hasn't cracked that top 5, still an incredible writer I want to give credit to. And then my other honorable mention, which is a new honorable mention compared to last year, is Eunice. And it's funny bringing up Klutz. Between those 2 Crucible classes, the leader of that new class, in my opinion, is Eunice, who's a little bit of like an everything battle rapper. I think he angles a little bit. He performs a little bit. He punches in there, but I think there's more details to his writing than just that. And I think that's what really emphasizes him as a pen. Some would argue being able to do all those things with your writing makes you a pen, but I always look at the complexity, the intricacy, and just going about battle rap in a different way. And I do feel like Eunice has some uniqueness to him. While he clearly takes some facets, you know what I'm saying, of modern day battle rap, a bit with the punch count, right? Maybe how some of these idioms here and there are structured. I do think there's enough uniqueness, 100%. He wouldn't be kind of the leader of this new school without it. Him and Klutz actually did battle. I mean, we're going back to, I think, like 2023 with that when he won that battle. But he's someone I had a couple mentions, maybe should have made the honorable mentions last year. And after the year he just put up, being a top 20 Cody finalist and like the product in there that is really good, from the JC battle to the Rum Nitty battle to his smaller league work. He's been working his way up here in the conversation. And with another powerful year versus some top tiers, there could be a world where next year I do a list like this and Eunice makes the top 5. But for now, honorable mentions are Klutz and Eunice, 2 of the new guys, 2 of the new pens. And with that being said, we can get into my top 5 5 pens in 2025. And at number 5, making his first appearance, but someone at an all-time level who is always put in these conversations, is JC. And I thought 2024, granted this list is in 2025, but we're going off kind of that work beforehand, right? And I don't think he's battled to start this year either. But his 2024 was just such a refreshing year for him getting back on track. And I did feel like after the Surf loss, not only was his stock down from an optic view, but I didn't feel like his output was as good either. He battled Klutz. He was good in that battle. I did have him losing, though. He lost to Miss Hustle in a bizarre little light work battle. Even some of his smaller league stuff, it just wasn't the same type of potency from JC, right? But then last year, between the Eunice battle, the Bad News battle, win over Bill Collector, clear as hell, win over Hollow to Don, clear as hell. This is the stuff that brings him back to where his name is held in this culture. And then after like that little bit of a dip, I wouldn't even say he was just flat out bad for that year and a half, 2 years, but he was back to being who JC really is. And that is an elite writer. And some might even argue he could be 1 or 2 spots up. I'm pretty confident in the names I got here who have also been doing it at a high level, but he's someone that is normally in those top pen conversations. I feel like he left top anything conversations just for a little bit because his output wasn't as good, but he's back on track. Some of his biggest wins in years, some of his best material in years, and I think is more than worthy here of making JC on a top 5 pens list. You know what I'm saying? Not too much I got to say for that one. Then we go up to number 4, who was on the list last year, if I could check real quick. Same spot, actually. Same spot that he was on the list last year, and that is Chef Trez. And I mean, Chef Trez, when I made the list, I'm, of course, going to use a lot of Cody stats here. He finished top 3, right? And then this year he finishes at 4. You know what I'm saying? So he finishes top 4. He is the best he has ever been. You know what I'm saying? If there was any debates if Chef Trez was top tier before the last 2 years, it's beyond silencing it. He then took that and then leveled up with it, where not only is he clearly a top tier battle rapper in my opinion, he's also just one of the best in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that plays top 5 2 years in a row. And it's not, he battles a lot. And when you battle 15, 20 plus times a year, a lot of people are going to look at the smaller league stuff. Oh, why? He's battling a bunch of nobodies, right? But he's battling a lot of the best in the world. Av, Tay-Rock, John Dodon, New Jersey Twerk, Charlie Clips, Swamp, and probably a couple more that I'm not even adding on right now, and he's just as good in those battles. He beat Tay-Rock. Him and Av is Av's biggest fight last year. I had him beating John Dodon. I had him beating New Jersey Twerk, a little bit more of a debatable battle, right? Him and Swamp was one of the best battles on URL the year that it happened, so Trez is still doing it at the highest level. There's so many things you could praise him for as an all-around battle rapper, but I think the power in it that gets lost behind the rebuttaling, right? Because that's his main factor. You wouldn't just be at this level because of rebuttals. He's writing incredible shit, sometimes twice in the same weekend. I think he just battled. He's supposed to be rematching Prep or having a trilogy with Prep. He battled someone else that night, and apparently he bombed in both of those battles as well. I cannot speak highly enough about the battle rapper that Chef Trez is, and I don't think people will realize how special what he's doing is until maybe he's somehow not in this run. You're gonna be like, yo, those 2 to 3 years Chef Trez put together is the pinnacle of battle rap. So he still holds his spot on this list. And I think that his pen, while people look at the rebuttals and these other factors, how quick he's writing, the actual material is more than worthy and could be argued a spot or 2 up. I wouldn't be mad at it. But then we break into the top 3 from there. And at number 3, who I think is who was actually dropped the spot from the list last year, but I think is still worthy of this conversation, is Rum Nitty. Another one where I feel like we're naming JC, Chef Trez, Rum Nitty. It's not too hard to praise these guys and understand why they'd be in a top writers conversation. For me, there's a couple guys who are more pen-based to the core. While I think Rum Nitty is more than a puncher for quite a few years now and has went more into the pen category, experimented more with the type of wordplay, the type of concepts he goes for. It's not just a simple build-up punchline, set-up punchline. While he does have that, and he does that at the highest level, I think that his writing has evolved over the years, right? But I just think that there's simply 2 other guys who are also in just the straight-up pen lane, who are a little bit more synonymous with the category and doing more if we look at the the intricacies, the actual structure of the writing. On top of that, his reference pool, his creativity is second to none. And if people think that Rum Nitty is saying the most creative stuff that hasn't been said before, I think that's a great argument for why he's at this high up in the list and why some may argue him higher. But I think 3 is kind of perfect where he might cap out. And some people may still consider him just a traditional puncher and say he should go a spot or 2 down. But like I said, there's evolution in his writing process. It's far from set up punchline. He's even mixing in some angling punching in there and getting kind of tailored to his opponent. And for all those reasons, that's why I have him starting off the top 3. And then we get into the top 2, and at number 2, who was number 1 last year, I still think someone could have him in that conversation. I mean, I just have him at runner-up, but he does go a spot back, and that is Real Sick. And I will say, last year, he had a good year, right? And Cody, top 20 once again for him. But I don't feel like his material was as good as it was the year before when he battled A-Ward, Disaster, even Homeschool. You know, like, if you look at the difference, even though he kind of jumped up in names, he eclipsed in Nitty the next year, right? That material he had, like, for Ward is, like, perfect. Like, he wrapped 3 8-minute rounds, and if you watch that, it's not tiring. He is doing something with every second of the 8 minutes in each round, and it's structured perfectly. It's wrapped perfectly, so the syllable structure is written out very compact, multisyllabic, but smooth. There's content within that. He's not just rapping multis for the sake of rapping a really cool rhyme scheme fast, you know? Everything. He's tailored to his opponent. Every word means something. Everything means something. And he still has an aspect of that. I just felt like the material dropped a little bit, right? Like in those peak battles like he had with like an A-Ward, I don't think he has a battle to match that. Maybe his Rum Nitty material might be his best. Thought his third tape, I personally had him losing on an edge. A lot of people got him winning the battle, but I think it's fair to say his A-Ward material is better than his Nitty material, right? His Diz and Clips material are both good. Maybe his Clips material is a little better, but even that's not like a 10 out of 10 showing. And maybe he's becoming a victim of his own greatness, where I'm looking for performances like that to have him keep his spot. But I still think Real Sick is a contender for best writer in the world. I have him here at number 2, and that is more the basis of his style than like a Rum Nitty, right? If you ask me who's more of a pen battle rapper, I think everyone would kind of tell you Real Sick. I think that's another reason that I would have him over Nitty in the list, even if I had him losing the battle, right? And that speaks to his writing with a couple like big matchups. He still wants to battle a Tay-Rock. He has Ilmac coming up. I could see a world by the end of 2025, a couple power showings like that against those big legendary opponents. Maybe I have him back at number 1 next year. But that leaves us with number 1, who was not an honorable mention last year, who was not top 5 for me last year. But after a career that has started from being amazing to inconsistency, and now the last couple years, I think been more consistent than people realize, this is a guy that I have to put at number 1 because I think he's going at battle rap in a way that his style is one-on-one, and that is Jay the Nightwing. I think Jay the Nightwing is the best pen in battle rap right now. And I think if you look at his last couple years of battles, I mean, he's always written special. His energy has been his own energy. Some people compare it a bit to Head Ice, but it's even more relaxed than that, right? He has this, I call him the philosophical third rounds, where he has extremely deep message-based third rounds. But even what he's doing scheming-wise, and, we talk about Real Sick not leaving any word just for there. Everything has a purpose. I mean, Jay the Nightwing is the epitome of that. And, I mean, you can go back to battles like his Mad Flex battle, which is going to go down as like a cult classic, quality-wise in that classic conversation, right? But probably doesn't have that impact that a lot of other battles of that kind of type of quality do. But him and Mad Flex is amazing. His performance versus Geechee Gotti is amazing. His Real Deal battle, amazing. His Sheet Happens battle he just had, amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we go over these last 4 or 5 joints that he has, he's bringing like his absolute A game to everyone, where they're the standouts of the night. If he's not the best performer of the night and straight up winning, he's having like a clear battle of the night and one of the better battles of the year. And then he has Ill Will coming up on Apollo, and I want to see how their skill sets kind of go against each other. But the way he just raps different. He raps different, and there's nothing that separates you from your peers like simply having a style that no one's seen before. And that's the biggest praise I could possibly give Jay the Nightwing. On top of that, his writing, the way that he schemes within his words, there's still heavy punches somewhere in there still too. Rapping on topic, usually angling, but not directly about like an event that's related to a person, maybe a mindset or the way he's seen their career go. And then these third rounds that he has in all these battles versus Mad Flex, versus Real Deal, versus Geechee Gotti, versus Sheet Happens. This is the highest level of writing that you can ask for, and it has his peers being like, yo, the fuck is Jay the Nightwing doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's just going about the game in a different way. So it might be a bold take. I think everyone knows he has the talent to be there, but after 4 or 5 amazing showings in a row, what's stopping us from saying Jay the Nightwing is the best pen in battle rap? And for me, maybe a couple more top tier showings would solidify it more to the public, but as of right now, I just don't see anyone penning to paper as good as the guy has been really for the last couple years, but especially as we talk here now in 2025. And that is my full list here for the top 5 pens in battle rap. We'll go over it again. Klutz and Eunice is the honorable mentions. I think they'll be there one day, but I think, very honorable to mention them, right? JC at 5, Chef Trez at 4, Rum Nitty at 1, falling 1 spot, Real Sick at 2, falling 1 spot, and then Jay the Nightwing here at number 1 for my pick of the best pen out here right now. The one person that did, 2 people that missed the list that were on there last year, Danny Myers, who I think just didn't have a fantastic year, and people were just writing better, right? Is he a better battle rapper all time? Probably. Like if he was to find his momentum, yes, we understand that, but I think these guys have just done better in that writing category as of recently. And New Jersey Twerk, which is a bit of a controversial one, right? Because if I had Twerk there, he didn't really do anything to make me take him off. I just don't know if he's considered a straight up pen. That's the hardest part with Twerk, is he could be top 5 pens. He could be top 5 punchers, top 5 performers. If he really wanted to, he could probably end up being a top 5 angler as well. But I feel like these guys are more in that traditional pen style lane. The one performance he did have versus Big K, while written beautifully, is a very performance punching base, just like onslaught of haymakers. And even the performances outside of that, like J2, I think is more in that like haymaker type of lane, right? I didn't think he showed off maybe his pure, like, in detail writing chops the way he did coming off of his 2023 year, where many people thought he should have been champion of the year to this day, right? But for me, it's more of like the basis of style is big for me here. Klutz is a pen. Eunice is a pen. JC, Chef Trez, I think Rum Nitty's evolved there, but you could even maybe use that argument for Nitty too. I think he's more on the strict writing side, while I think Twerk, while he writes well, he's more on the performance side. But that's kind of like my general-ish thoughts of why I didn't have Twerk on the list. If you think he should have stayed on the top 5, completely understand. Let me know where you would have put him, who you would have moved. But I think Jay the Nightwing, Real Sick, Nitty, Trez, JC, when we talk about the details of writing, these guys are some of the best doing it at the highest level right now. And I feel like the fans and even a lot of their peers feel the same way. So I feel pretty confident about this list. But as always, I should say, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me know your top 5 pens, and more importantly, who do you think is the best pen in battle rap right now in 2025? Do you agree with my list? Who would you move around? Would you move someone up? Would you move someone down? Would you take someone off the list or put someone on? You think I criminally underrated? And then how do you feel about Jay the Nightwing being number 1? I think he's going to make most people's top 5, right? Because I think the people, particularly my fan base, this channel, you guys have a lot of attention to detail. You can respect where I'm coming from with that Jay pick. But do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments down below, man. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.